Welcome to the real Flat Earth Friday. Y'all, how are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here tonight. We've got so much content to get into. What an absolute crazy week in the realm of the flat Earth community.
Just a second, I gotta figure out how to get your camera.
It's not working correctly.
It's on your screen share right now, so
Hmm.
um and
Just go
there
to
we go.
thumbnail. There, you got it.
There we go. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
It was hidden behind layer after layer, but I got to it.
Yeah, we got so much content. We're always on the go. We got so much stuff that we're always trying to up the quality, up the content. So, again, like I was saying, what an absolute crazy week in the flat Earth community.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting crazier. I mean, what we saw just before we went live was some of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on over on the Zetetic Warrior and Nachiketa scene, but they're just going just complete manic psychotic. I mean, wow. We'll see if we have to get into that at some point. But I'm really thankful that you're continuing to push with the understanding of the coordinate system. We've got some amazing player cards to reveal tonight, three different groups. I'm looking forward to that section. But tonight we're going to start off with the coordinate system and an error that you found with the biconal.
Yeah, so it was 2 weeks ago, Flat Earth Friday, that we brought out the diamond projection and we brought out the bicone, and so some of you were latching onto it and going with that, and there's an error that I spotted within it as I was trying to make actual map where I was going to put the continents on the diamond projection that we had and stuff like that. And there was an error that just kept on popping up that I couldn't really make sense of. And I prayed about it. And once again, I have to thank the Father because the thought process came that led me to what is the accurate conclusion now. And I'll show you the whole path that it took. But we're going to show how within the projection system that what we were doing is we were magnifying the error that's within the coordinate system. And so we're going to learn more about the coordinate system. Eventually, we're going to absolutely be navigation masters because we're going to know everything about latitude and longitude that there is. And when these Sean St. Pierre's try to debate or whatever, when it comes to projections, they're going to have to come talk to us because we really have some deep understanding now. And so tonight we're going to be able to show what the actual 2D, 2-scale projection of the coordinate system is. It's a little bit different than the diamond, but not much. And we're going to be showing the actual 3D, 2-scale projection of the coordinate system. It's still sort of a bicone, but it's a more special bicone. And I think you all might enjoy this because when it comes to trolling people that think they're on a ball, we're going to show people what kind of ball it is, right?
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is that we've never stopped trying to learn more and discover exactly what this realm is. Now, we argue that you can only really understand your basic 3-mile circle of sight. Everything outside of that becomes more of a thought experiment. And that's what we're here to do, is to think and to try to put things together. And so we've been trying to come up with a full map of the Earth and how it would look on a flat plane. And I want everybody to understand that we're talking about the layout of the land masses according to the coordinate system. The coordinate system was created by humans, men and women, traveling east and west from the prime meridian with clocks and looking at the zenith position of the sun and measuring, okay, we're here at this point, the sun is here, right? And when you get 12 hours off of your original start point, you've reached 180 degrees. Then what happens is you go north and south from those different positions and you start to mark other spots onto the coordinate system. And what you're left with is the understanding of how this reality is mapped out or could be fit into a coordinate system. And it's not a sphere. It absolutely is not a sphere, right? And it's interesting the shape that the three-dimensional, now I said all we can understand truly is our own, each of us, our own local circle of sight, and how the luminaries revolve around each of us depending on our position on the coordinate system. So the heavenly bodies, they have this similar coordinate system. The earthly land masses have a similar coordinate system. And I was surprised at the finished product. It's definitely, it's not a chubby pear. That's ridiculous. It's symmetrical, right? The North and the South mirror each other. So it can't be Neil deGrasse Tyson a little fatter below the equator. That's a lie, right? So what we found out is that there probably is groups of secret societies and people that have figured this stuff out, but nobody's coming to the forefront as much as you, Jason, that you've taken the time, you've mapped this out, you've created the models, and we're just going to lay this out in a really simplistic way. This is not anything that you need to go to a university to get a degree in. Now, it does take a little bit of work to think about, to look. There are inconsistencies and errors when we start talking about how all this maps down to the Earth. But I'm excited about it, Jason. I think you've done a good job, and we're constantly improving. You can't play a video from 2 or 4 or even 8 years ago from Jason and I. If you do, you don't even know who the modern Jason and RJ Shine, you don't know who we are anymore. We're every single day moving forward, learning more, continuing to grow, continuing to work harder. Listen, it was Wayne Gretzky. He has the most points. No one will even ever come close to him. He's got more assists than anyone will ever have in combined points. And you know how he did it? He said he practiced hard every day. He practiced harder than it was in a game situation. If he missed the net in the practice, he was harder on himself than it was in a game. And Jason, I have to say that you do work similar to Gretzky. You're constantly putting in the work. You're constantly putting in the effort. And tonight we get to enjoy it. And hold on to your hats. We've got 3 new Illuminati Shape of the Realm the final dichotomy experiment cards to be released. And I think about 15 characters are going to come onto the scene. So you're not going to want to leave for that too. I'm really excited about that section. I've been working really hard on that. But obviously tonight, Jason, the ball is in your court, or I should say the plane.
What kind of ball do you think it is? So let's see if anybody in the chat can guess what kind of ball Earth is, if it's the 3D projection of the coordinate system. Now, once again, we do not think it's the 3D projection of the coordinate system. We think it's the 2D because we believe we're on a plane. So one of the things that I love about this is we're finally going to have a way to show the entire Earth in one picture, and nobody's going to be able to say jack shit about it because everything is exactly where it's got to be as far as the latitude and longitude coordinate system is concerned. The whole thing's to scale, and it's a little bit different than the diamond. Let's get into it and show everybody what it's going to be, right? Let's see if anybody can guess. Let's go. And we are back. We are back with what we were showing 2 weeks ago. Do y'all remember this? This is what we were calling the diamond projection.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Calignon. And you remember this from the days with
Flat Earth Conspiracy Channel with Lawrence Wright, as well as Lori Frary. Those were the characters that were saying that this is what the coordinate system mapped out.
And the thing is they're right. This is exactly what the coordinate system maps out. So whoever made this has the same error that we made. And I'm going to show everybody how I started bumping into this error. So if you go to the latitude and longitude calculator, let's go to the equator here quick. And so these are our latitudes. If both of these are set to 0, we're on the equator. Our longitude is our east and west. So 0 is the prime meridian. And what we were looking at is 180 degrees, both directions. And so what this tells you is 10,800 nautical miles to the west. And if you make this to the east, it is the same. So 10,800, 10,800, that is the 21,600 nautical miles at the equator. And then we went up to like 30 degrees north, and we wanted to see how long this is. And it was telling us 7,200 nautical miles to the east and to the west for a total of 14,400 nautical miles at 30 degrees. And that's what we were doing. We were just plotting these lengths as according to the latitude and longitude coordinate system. The thing is, as we're finding out, is that anytime you're dealing with antipodes or the poles, there's massive errors. And we'll get into the details of that. So what happened to me is 30 degrees north latitude, that's where New Orleans and that's where Cairo, Egypt are. And I've been using those as like key landmark places. And so at 30 degrees north from the prime meridian to New Orleans is at 90 degrees west. Watch what happens here. So right now we have 7,200, but to 90 degrees we have 4531. Get out of town. Right? If we go back to what we had here, 180 degrees, it was 7,200. I mean, what's half of 7,200? It's 3,600, right? So we expect when we type in 90 degrees west here, we expect this answer to be 3,600, but no, it's not. It's 4531. And so I started noticing this error all over the place when it doesn't add up to the same amount when you're looking at shorter distances, right? So this had me scratching my head for a while here. And after doing some reading and whatever, I started doing some checking. I'm going to show everybody what we're going to be looking at is 1 degree. Instead of looking at the whole 180 degrees like we are right here and getting this 7,200, let's go ahead and look at 1 degree. And it's telling us 1 degree is 52 nautical miles. All right, well, then it's easy to figure out 180 degrees because all we need is a calculator. And we'll type 52 times 180. And we've got 9,360. That's a big difference from what it's saying if we go 180 degrees. Saying that's 7,200 nautical miles. So if we use the single unit of the length of 1 degree, right, and then we multiply that times 180, we get this. And when we do the other way, we get the 7,200. So we've already plotted the 7,200, and what it ends up looking like is this, what we were showing. When you plot the numbers that you get from the coordinate system, it creates these straight slopes here. But when you go to the coordinate system and look at the lengths of each degree, so if you go to the equator here, 1 degree is 60 nautical miles. If we go to 10 degrees, and I'm just going to show you these, but I do have a graph that I've made. At 10 degrees north, it's 59 nautical miles. If we go to 20 degrees, now keep in mind that everything that we're seeing for the north here, it's identical in the south. In fact, just to be in the face of the single polars, let's just do this for the south and let everybody know that the north is the same as the south. So we went from 60 nautical miles to 59 nautical miles to 56 nautical miles. And we'll keep going south here. Here we're at 52 nautical miles. When we go to 40, we're at 46 nautical miles. Go to 50. We're at 39 nautical miles at 60 degrees south. We're at 30 nautical miles at 70. We're at 21 nautical miles. This is per degree, everybody, per 1 degree of longitude. Go to 80 nautical miles. We're down to 10 nautical miles per degree. And then as you're suspecting, when you get to 90 degrees south, there is no length. It is just a point. So if we take all these numbers here, and I want this one here. So what I just went through right there was the plotting of each one of these, where this is 60 nautical miles per degree at the equator, and we have that length of 21,600 nautical miles. All right, it's a total of 10,800 each direction, to the west, to the east. But then when we go to 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south, it's 59 nautical miles. So here's the actual distances now. So we're correcting the ones that we had before. So now it's 21,240 at 10 degrees north and south. And then it's 20,160 at 50, at 30 degrees north and south. And so when you plot it all out, this is what you get. This is an absolute 2-scale projection. And I want to show everybody here that, where's the one that has the lats and longitudes on it? I don't see it. All right, let me just show everybody. So in order to do this and check this for yourself, if we go by the numbers that we have right here, and we bring up SketchUp, what I had here was the original. If you take it just from 0 to 180 degrees, this is the way everything plotted up, and it was a diamond. So then what I started doing was taking those numbers that we just had and plotting out. Here's the length of the 10 degrees. And here's the length of the 20 degrees. So you can see here that we have this point, but then it goes to here. So if I start connecting this together, this is the actual shape of the coordinate system. All right, when you connect these points out here, if I keep connecting it around here, you'll see that it's not a perfect diamond like we had before. It's like a rounded out diamond. In fact, once you put the longitudes on it, I think we ought to call it the onion. So you can see how this shape starts taking place around here. And what you end up with is, once that's all filled in, this is everything drawn in to scale right here. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, okay, I have seen something like this before. We went through it 2 weeks ago. And what does that remind us of? That sure does look like the sinusoidal, in my opinion. So the sinusoidal is, I can't get off the, when you look for the sinusoidal, they got some good looking versions of it, but there's something that's wrong with it. So if you click on these, you'll see that it's not really done to scale. So they have the equator here, and then they have the lines of longitude being this length at the equator, but as you head to the north and to the south, they're stretching these. And that's not right. It's a distortion. And so we're learning how these distortions show up in the projections. And the thing is these lines of longitude are all truly equidistant from the equator, each one of these segments, to 10 degrees north, to 20, to 30, to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 degrees. All of these segments are the same length. And then this right here is when you put the longitudes out. Here we have the prime meridian. Here we have 45 degrees west and east. Here we have 90 degrees west and east. Here we have 135 degrees west and east. And here we have 180 degrees west and east. So this right here is a 2-scale representation. If we go back and look at something like this, you can see that there is distortion in the northern part of Canada, and there's distortion in Australia. We'll talk about how you're never going to ever get rid of all the distortion, not at all at once, but this still is not right. So I kept looking for something that I could find that was more accurate than that. And you see these different versions, just about all of them have the lines of longitude not being correctly put out there, except you'll see this equal area projection show up, and this is pretty close to being right. All right, you can see that the lines of longitude are being equally spaced here as they should. And then after seeing this reminded me very, very much of what we've gone to now, and that is the country-centered map projections. So we have all the different options to choose from, and we've been using the equirectangular like this, right? But now all of a sudden you can see there's a distinct advantage with using a wall weed, because this right here is really a 2-scale projection of the coordinate system with just one little exception. So you can see here, it's got the rounded edges like this. That's nice, but the true projection of the coordinate system is actually much more an onion, right? Because what the moleweed's doing is it's filling out an area up here more. It's rounding this out towards the north, when that's not what the coordinate system does. This is the 2-scale projection. But this is so cool because it's close. I mean, it really is close. And we can move it around and center it to any person's location. So right now, this is centered to the prime meridian and the equator. And so that's the reason why it looks like this. But now if we start moving along the equator here, all right, now all of a sudden, everything that's going down the prime meridian is actually 2-scale. All right, so this is Greenland to scale. This is this part of Brazil to scale. Now, this part of Brazil isn't totally to scale. I can't click on the land masses. It'll jump to them. So I'm going to jump over South America here. But here you can actually see at this line of longitude, everything is being drawn to scale from top to bottom. There is distortion out on the edges out here, but whatever line of longitude you're centered to, this is right on. So from now on, when we project things, we project them on this because nobody can say jack about it. It's perfect in the north, in the south. It's to scale. Now, let's say you're not at the equator. Let's say that you're at New Orleans. All right, that means you're going to click like this. Now what you've seen the coordinate system do is it's made the coordinate system the correct sizes of latitude and longitude around the area that we're looking at. So now all of a sudden we still have the correct lengths of longitude, but we also have the correct lengths of latitude. At this would be 20 degrees and 30 degrees north latitude. But of course, this over here is going to be out of scale. So if we were to fly from New Orleans over to Cairo, Egypt or something, our plane's going across here. We're going to talk about the routes that we'd be taking. But so our plane's going across the Atlantic, and everywhere the plane is, this is what the coordinate system looks like around the plane. Now this is the only way to represent it two-dimensionally here. And Earth is a plane. So if we continue our flight over here, eventually we get over here, and this is absolutely to scale. If we zoom in here, we've got the correct shape of the coordinate system for this area. So all these places are being represented to scale right here. Of course, not somewhere else. So when we're on the equator here, all right, now all of a sudden lines of longitude might start making a little bit more sense to you, because what they did is they arbitrarily set this meridian, they call it, that'd be from the North Pole to the South Pole. They set this as the middle marker, and it could have been set anywhere. But we'll get into longitude now and how they came up with that. We got some Wikipedia articles. There's some things highlighted. Of course, this is riddled with this information, but there are things to be gleaned from it that are interesting as well. They say because of Earth's rotation. Well, no, it's because solar noon moves across the face of Earth. That's the reason why. It says there's a close connection between longitude and time measurement. Scientifically precise local time varies with longitude. A difference of 15 degrees longitude corresponds to a 1 hour difference in local time. Due to the differing position in relation to the sun, comparing local time to an absolute measure of time allows longitude to be determined. So hopefully people are starting to catch on to this. We'll get into it deeper, but if two people start off with a clock at the prime meridian, two clocks. So you've got one clock that's set to local time, and you do that by solar noon's really the easiest. So when the sun is due south of you when you're in the north, or due north of you when you're in the south, you've got solar noon, and you can set your clock to it. All right. So then as you travel west, right, all of a sudden the clocks are going to be out of sync. And if you travel east, the clocks are going to be out of sync. It's going to be interesting. Actually, if you tell somebody what time it is where you are, you're sort of doxing yourself as far as what how far east or west of the prime meridian you are. So depending on the era, the absolute time might be obtained from a celestial event visible from both locations, such as a lunar eclipse, or from a time signal transmitted by telegraph or radio. The principle is straightforward, but in practice, finding a reliable method of determining longitude took centuries and required the effort of some of the greatest scientific minds. A location's north-south position along a meridian is given by its latitude, which is approximately the angle between the equatorial plane and the normal from the ground at that location. So they use such terrible words. This normal, if you look at it, is a perpendicular place on a plane, right? So from a perpendicular place on a plane, you measure this equatorial plane. That's the elevation of the sun, and that'll tell you your latitude. So they use this bad vocabulary to try to mess people up on these types of things. But as far back as the 2nd century BCE, Hipparchus used a coordinate system that assumed a spherical Earth, and divided it into 360 degrees as we do today. So all that is an assumption. The sky is spherical as far as the way it rotates around you, hemispherical because of the plane that you're on, and half of it's above the plane and half of it's below the plane. And so this coordinate system that they created works, but it works because of the way the sky rotates around an observer. The chronometer. So really there was no way of keeping time until you had something like this, as far as like a ship was concerned. So when you're traveling abroad, you needed to have some sort of a chronometer or a watch, right? And that didn't really happen until in the early 1700s. So in England, they had a reward. They didn't even really pay the guy whether he had to fight for it. Sounds like it wasn't a Freemason that made the clocks for them. But once they had these chronometers, what they did is they started sailing in east and west. And what happens as you travel to the east or west, let's go ahead and get a graphic up here. So when you travel to the west here, what's going to happen is the clock's going to be, your solar new moon's going to be happening later and later and later as you travel west. And the way they have it set up is every 15 degrees is an hour. All right, so this right here is 45 degrees. So this is 4 hours from here to here. And it's 4 hours from here to here. And that's the way the whole system was made, was based on a time difference from the prime meridian to the west and to the east. Let's go back to our Wikipedia here. And it said, while mariners benefited from the accurate charts, they could not receive telegraph signals while underway, and so could not use the method for navigation. This changed when wireless telegraphy, radio, became available in the early 20th century. Wireless time signals for the use of ships were transmitted from Halifax, Nova Scotia, starting in 1907, and from the Eiffel Tower in Paris from 1910. These signals allowed navigators to check and adjust their chronometers frequently. Radio navigation systems came into general use after World War II. The systems all depended on transmissions from fixed navigational beacons. A shipboard receiver calculated the vessel's position from these transmissions. They allowed accurate navigation when poor visibility prevented astronomical observations, and became the established method for commercial shipping until it was replaced by GPS. So determination, let's check this out. It says the main conventional methods for determining longitude are listed below, with one exception, magnetic declination. They all depend on a common principle, which is to determine the time for an event or measurement and to compare it with the time at a different location. Longitude, being up to 180 degrees east or west of a prime meridian, is mathematically related to time differences up to 12 hours by a factor of 15. Thus, a time differential in hours between 2 points is multiplied by 15 to obtain a longitudinal difference in degrees. Just show everybody here again. When they had the ability with radio signals to now all of a sudden connect all these different clocks together where they were able to synchronize them, everybody was able to tell exactly what their time difference was from the prime meridian. And we have a total of a 12-hour time difference to the west, and we have a total hour of time difference to the east at these different latitudes. So when you're at 10 degrees north, the distance, right, from the prime meridian from west to east is less. And at each one of these latitudes, it gets smaller to the north, but as Ronnie mentioned, there is absolute symmetry, and it gets equally short in the south. So that a person traveling at the equator has to go this whole 10,800 nautical miles here to get to a point where all of a sudden their clock is 12 hours out of sync, but the person that traveled here to the east and their clock gets 12 hours out of sync. Now all of a sudden those two people, this person and this person, are together at the same spot. So this right here is actually proof of looping, amazingly enough. What else we have here? Transport of chronometers. A clock is set to the local time of a starting point whose longitude is known, and the longitude of any other place can be determined by comparing its local mean time with the clock time. And that is the time where you can see the sun at solar noon. Values. Longitudes is given as an angular measurement with 0 at the prime meridian, ranging from 180 degrees west to 180 degrees east. It's used to denote the location of a place on Earth east or west of the prime meridian. The longitude is singular at the poles, and calculations that are sufficiently accurate for other positions may be inaccurate at or near the poles. Also, the discontinuity at the 180 degree meridian must be handled with care in calculations. An example is a calculation of east displacement by subtracting two longitudes, which gives the wrong answer if the two positions are on either side of this meridian. To avoid these complexities, some applications use another horizontal position representation. So it turns out that there's a whole bunch of different formulas that are used with the latitude and longitude system to give distances. Now, this comes up multiple times. They call it a singularity and a discontinuity. And that's a problem. And that's the problem that I was running into here, is that when I was measuring to 180 degrees west, this is where their calculation falls apart. They call this a discontinuity, because if you were to travel from this point right here to this point right here, you're going to be crossing a border, and you can actually see that these borders don't absolutely line up. Right? So you get wrong numbers, and then you have the same issue at the poles where a singularity happens. The calculators fail. So the length of a degree of longitude. The length of a degree of longitude east or west depends only on the radius of a circle of latitude. So what they're saying here is that, well, let's see, we'll be getting to it. I want to show, I guess I'll show it from here. Depends on the radius of a circle of latitude. I want this one that's labeled for dimensions. So they're saying that the all these latitudes, right? These circles of latitude are determining the shape here, but they're not. They absolutely aren't. The 60 nautical miles at the equator, the 59 at 10 degrees, the 56 at 30 degrees, these do not turn into a sphere. These are not the circumferences of a sphere, because we're going to be showing what this actually looks like in 3D. A geographical mile is defined to be the length of 1 minute of arc along the equator, 1 equatorial minute of longitude. Therefore, a degree of longitude along the equator is exactly 60 geographical miles, or 111 kilometers, as there are 60 minutes in a degree. The length of 1 minute of longitude along the equator is 1 geographical mile, or 1.855 kilometers, or 1.153 miles, while the length of 1 second of it is 101 feet. Thought that was interesting. So the distances are determined by the time differences, everybody. All right, so it's set up by these minutes, because the minutes determine the length between these places. Believe it or not. It sounds a little crazy. It's going to be something to wrap your head around. Geographical distance. So when we're trying to calculate distance, this is what Wikipedia says. It says, calculating the distance between geographical coordinates is based on some level of abstraction. It does not provide an exact distance, which is unattainable if if one attempted to account for every irregularity in the surface of Earth, common abstractions for the surface between two geographical points are... So just understand here that it's saying all abstractions above ignore the changes in elevation. So throw that right out. And we're not talking about topography differences. What we're talking about is three different types of surfaces: a flat surface, a spherical surface, or an ellipsoid surface. And we're just talking with no elevation change and no topography change, smooth, but based on these shapes. And so one of the things that they do that frustrates me is they talk about a tunnel distance on a flat surface. And because what they try to do is they try to say that a great circle route is the tunnel distance. That would be like going through a spherical Earth. And that is the shorter route because the tunnel distance is equal to the arc. So the theoretical estimations of error are in above is the flattening of Earth. So notice that all these formulas that we're talking about now for calculating the distance, they're giving us flat surfaces, and now they're talking about everything being flattened. And so here's some of their terminology. Here's the issue that I ran into with the coordinate system. So singularities and discontinuity of latitude and longitude. The approximation of sinusoidal functions, and notice that it was the sinusoidal projection that really does look similar to the onion projection that we have, appearing in some flat surface formula below, may induce singularity and discontinuity. It may also degrade the accuracy in case of higher latitude. So longitude has singularities at the poles. That is, that the longitude is undefined. So math has a problem with not being defined, and a discontinuity at the meridian. I was showing you that when you go from one side to the other, it doesn't line up. Also, planar projections of the circles of constant latitude are highly curved near the poles. We'll be showing that when we look at the 3D model. Hence the above equations for delta, the latitude and longitude, mean latitude may not give the expected answer for positions near the poles or the 180-degree meridian. So that is exactly the reason why we're getting false numbers for the lengths of those latitudes. If a calculation based on latitude and longitude should be valid for all Earth positions, it should be verified that the discontinuity and the poles are handled correctly. So they're saying if you're checking a distance from here to over here, but you're planning on going across the international date line, you better double check, right? Because you're at a high latitude and you have a discontinuity. You're going across edges that don't really line up with each other. And so you don't hear people talking about the errors that show up within the coordinate system too often, though. They've got a whole bunch of different calculations. And surprisingly not, they're based on flat surface. All right, so a planar approximation for the surface of Earth may be useful over very small distances, actually over long distances, because they're saying that the tunnel distance, that would be digging underneath, the shortest distance between 2 points in a plane is a Cartesian straight line. The Pythagorean theorem is used to calculate the distance between points in a plane. So when we're calculating the distance, we're doing it with the Pythagorean theorem on a plane. Even over short distances, the accuracy of geographic distance calculations, which assume a flat Earth, depend on the method by which the latitude and longitude coordinates have been projected onto the plane. The projection of latitude and longitude coordinates onto the plane is the realm of cartography. So that is, we're literally like cartographers now. And we're showing everybody how the latitude and longitude can be projected onto the plane with tools like this. Right? So this is taking all the data from the latitude and longitude coordinate system correctly with the correct lengths of latitudes and longitudes, and it's placing everything at its geographic location And so this is cartography. All you need to do is understand that this is the 2-scale projection right here.
It's in a close approximation.
Yeah. I know that we're not going to be able to get into the depths of all this because it's some pretty heavy material, but we'll continue to be showing along the way how they flip-flopped all this stuff, this tunnel distance. So the latitude and longitude coordinate system, when you look at something like this and you ask for distances between certain points, it's actually giving us what you would call a great circle route. If we do something like here's some cities in the south that I was checking, and so this is like Cape Town to Sydney, and this is what they call a great circle map, and so it's taking coordinates. It's taking coordinates and then it's doing a calculation, and it's giving a length that's not the exact length that you get when you go directly due east or west. All right, there are ways to get shorter lengths that we'll be getting into. And let me see, how can I show that? Here's a simple one. So if we're going from New Orleans to, this is north, to Cairo, Egypt. We're going to round this off to 30 degrees east. It's actually like 31 degrees, but so it's saying here that the distance between New Orleans and Cairo, Egypt is 5,831 nautical miles. And we know that at 30 degrees north, if we're just doing 1 degree, it's 52 nautical miles. So that's 120 degrees of longitude times 52 nautical miles gives us a distance of 6,240 nautical miles. Let's put this back to what we had here. You see there's a difference here. It's given us 5831, but we saw that it's 52 nautical miles for each degree of longitude at 30 degrees north. We've got 120 degrees here. We would expect 6,240 nautical miles, but the calculator is giving us 5831. This is actually the Great Circle route that we're getting here. And this number here will match up with the number that you get right here. So there's a way of measuring the distance, nautical miles, where you stay all the way continuous at the same latitude, but there is a shorter route as well. And let's go ahead and show this. This gets into the Great Circle routes. I think I lost a couple of the pictures that I wanted to be using here. Where are all the distances?
Yeah, maybe you'll be able to bring them back up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting how the shorter and longer distances with the latitudes and how it changes, and how it actually doesn't match what you would expect on a sphere. So on a sphere, you could drag a string or an elastic band in any direction that you actually move that elastic band. If you're talking about I'm giving you time to pull up those other shots. If you find a specific spot traveling in any direction, you'll always have the same curvature and the same distance from your beginning and end point. There's no shortcuts on a sphere, right? It's a circle, right? And you can put your elastic band in any direction and you're going to find that it's the same distance all the way around, whether you go north or south, east or west. And we've already shown here that the difference from 90 south to 90 north, as opposed to 180 east and 180 west, is it's almost double the height, double the width over the height, right?
So one way to show this is right here. We just calculated at 52 nautical miles per degree the distance from New Orleans to Cairo. But what the Great Circle route does is it takes advantage of the fact that the north is shorter, right? Because it's 52 nautical miles per degree at this latitude, but up at 50 degrees, let's bring at 50 degrees, it's 39 nautical miles per degree. So the distance is shorter, right, the farther north you go. So that's where things get pretty
south.
Yeah, so there is an actual shorter path, but it has nothing to do with being a globe. In fact, I ordered a globe off of Amazon, and just for the ability to be able to show that when you draw the line from pull a string from New Orleans to Cairo, that it doesn't go all the way up to 50 degrees north.
I just wanted you to show the bottom again. So the flight route that you have there, Buenos Aires to Cape Town,
yeah,
or Cape Town to Sydney. If you see the distances between those two spots, dragging the string upwards and downwards doesn't actually change the distance around a sphere. Right? It's curved in the exact same shape in all directions, is what I'm stating. Right? The only way that these shortcuts actually work is when you actually look at this reality as a two-dimensional flat plane with the lines of longitudes like this on the onion projection system, where they actually truncate to a single point at both the top and the bottom. Again, this isn't what the spheroid or the Earth that we've been told or taught. This is not the shape of it at all, right?
Yeah. So back to this. Just going to be showing everybody how the Great Circle routes actually mathematically work because of the fact that the farther north you go, the shorter the lines of latitude become. So it's actually a shorter distance, but that is a type of warping of reality that that only happens because we're in a virtual reality, and wherever we go, right, this is representing the true lengths between places. So now all of a sudden, when you do something like this and you connect a line between these places, you can see that it is an advantage to take advantage of these shorter distances to the north or to the south. Like, as we're seeing that when you're south of the equator but you're traveling east and west, then you get the Great Circle routes that are looping farther to the south, where they're taking advantage of the shorter distances that are down here. And it does, this Great Circle route is not, we'll draw the line from Cape Town to Sydney, and that's not where the line's going to lay as far as the shortest route.
But again, the path that you see from Cape Town to Sydney here, this arc, if you drag that path up to follow the latitude, it's going to be the same length on a sphere. I'm trying to explain to everybody, if this is a pool ball, there's no shortcut flying north or south. It's the same distance everywhere, right?
Yep.
The only way that this takes place is if you actually have this shrinking, right? And that's only represented in the virtualness of this reality. So basically, bending or warping of space and time is not something that is being done with imaginary black holes that can't be observed. It's actually done through travel within the realm. And when we get into the next section after this, I'm going to show everybody a concept where it kind of ties all this together. So make sure you stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, so here, the onion is the accurate 2D projection of the coordinate system. This is absolutely to scale. It is like spot on. And what we had before was the was the diamond looking version right here. But what we've done is we filled in the extra length by using the length of each degree of longitude, just 1 degree segments, and then being able to extrapolate out the true shape. And so we filled this in, and now we have the onion. So people are probably wondering, all right, well, if you fill this in on the outside here of the 3-dimensional projection, is that going to turn it into like an oblate spheroid, right? I wanted to know. I've heard about the oblate spheroids.
So let's preface this a little bit slower, okay? Now, we are completely stating, emphatically, we are dogmatically stating that we live on a 2-dimensional flat plane of reality. We do not live in a 3-dimensional biconal or spherical reality. Okay, I really want to make this as simple as possible for the viewers. We are showing you what the 3-dimensional coordinate system would map out to in an alternate universe, in an alternate reality that's not observable. It's just as crazy as someone thinking that they live on a sphere that someone was to say that they think that they live on this bicone. Okay? Nobody lives on a bicone. You don't live on the tree of Asgard. It's just theoretical fantasy. But what we're showing you is if you believe you live in a 3-dimensional spherical reality, this is the shape that the measurements are taken from observers traveling east and west and measuring the position of the sun's zenith as well as their original starting point at midday until they reach the outer points where it's now become 12 hours off, lagging. And when they arrive at the same place and pass each other, you've now mapped out the entire east-west, and you do the same process north-south. That's all we're saying. And again, Jason, I want to make sure this has got to be really basic for the people that are tuning in here. We are not saying that anyone lives, like if you could zoom in on the Jaren character on the bottom of this bicone, there's nobody in the world that lives on this sloping biconal reality. It's fictional, and this is being used to mock the idea that these people like fight the fat earth, that think that they live on a spherical reality. This is what your coordinate system would project to, and no one's been able to measure a bicone. So I just want to make sure that everybody is completely understanding of what's going on here.
Well, this is the one that we came up with the errors that show up in the coordinate system. So this is what we shared before, and what we found is that the lengths of latitude have to be longer, right? So when you add those extra lengths, what you end up with is this. All right, so I went through, and you can see that each one of these inner circles here is the way it was before, and all I did was add to it the extra length. So no extra length is added at the equator, but for each one of these, here's 10 degrees north. The extra length was added to the length of latitude, and then it was turned into a circumference, right? And then that circumference here was plotted, and so this is the extension that shows up at 10 degrees north. This is the extension that shows up at 20. This is the extension that shows up at 30 right here. This is the extension that shows up at 40. The extension at 50. The extension at 60, 70, and 80. And then, of course, there's no extension at 90 because it is just a point. So now, with that error being fixed as far as the lengths of these are concerned, we now have football Earth, everybody.
Football Earth, the shape that the 3-dimensional, so it's still a bicone,
yep,
but the slope is now it's fattened a little bit, like Fight the Fat Earth. It's fattened a little bit, not fatter at below the equator, like Neil the Liar Tyson said. It's perfectly symmetrical, but now what we have is a football. It projects to the old pigskin. You know, the bladder of a pig was first used to make a football, and it then began to be moved towards what was the shape of it, which I don't like the scientific word because they're trying to assimilate this to a sphere. This is in no way a spherical shape in any way. It's a protoid, right? Or
What do they have? They have.
I don't like it. I don't like the word. It's gross. I like football Earth.
Yeah, if I just type in what is the shape of a football, prolate spheroid.
Prolate.
So the problem I have is the spheroid word, because a football has 2 points and a ball has no points. So I really think that this should be like a prolate bicone, right? Because spheroid, I don't think spheroid applies to a football.
No, it doesn't look anything like a sphere at all. There's points. A sphere doesn't have any points, right? It's got 4 points.
But this is, I mean, that's a football. That right there. I think they patterned
football, right? CFL, more of like a CFL. It's a little fatter.
I think they patterned the football off of the world here, brother, because that's the way it projects right there. So even with the corrections that we made, still really a bicone. But now anybody that thinks that they live on a ball, let's go ahead and show them that they actually would be living on a football if that were true.
Football. So Will Doofy, Duffass, and Jaron Campanella, who says that the observations that he's going to go and cite, you know, the only model he thinks that predicts that you would see the 24-hour sun in Antarctica would be a spherical globe Earth. Well, unfortunately, the actual measurements in reality would actually dictate that you live on a football. Jaron would be standing almost at the point football. And the curvature and slope would definitely be detectable. If he was to go up that Union Glacier Mountain, he should be able to see a huge drop-off in Earth if the Earth were an actual 3-dimensional bicone.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you got to go to the South Pole and go skiing, right? Because look at the slopes there.
Big drop.
That's some serious slope.
But this is what it measures. So everybody needs to know that that's the corrected now. You've taken the errors into account and you've corrected it. And now we have a more accurate 3-dimensional model of the coordinate system.
That's it. That's it. So going forward, we're going to be using the onion projection. Mostly we'll be showing everybody the moleweed. The moleweed's, you know, it's equirectangular. It's got a lot of good uses to it. The nice thing is it shows the whole Earth here to scale. Now, yes, there are distortions because you can't be centered to everywhere all the time. But as a coordinate system being projected here, everybody can just take a flying leap that wants to go against this because it scales out. This is as close as I can find online to the onion projection, which is the most accurate right here.
There's the one image that you have, the green one.
Yeah, there's that one shows up there. So this is very much like the moleweed, equal area. You can see that all the lines of longitude are equidistant.
We've got somebody in the chat said, so the onion is a 2D projection and a football is a 3D projection. It has nothing to do with the word globe. Take that word and throw it in the garbage. There is no globe. It's not measurable, observable, nor does it actually match with the coordinate. The right word is the coordinate system projected into a 3-dimensional surface wrapped, where the 180 degrees that Jason has here splayed out, where on both sides, that's what everybody's hang up is how do the boundaries work? Where's the ice wall to hold the waters in? You know, how does, you know, everybody just mocks us or they hand wave dismiss everything we say because the 180. That's the key that we need to point out. And Jason showed that even in their own coordinate systems, mapping and projections, there is a discrepancy there. There's an error. They call it the singularity, discontinuity. right? We've been trying to explain to people for over 10 years that this is the way that reality works. It's not that you live on a spinning sphere in a giant Big Bang infinite universe where you're flying like some kind of Earth ship. You live in a supernatural, virtual, biblical, stereographic reality. And the two sides of 180 are the boundaries. The four corners are your east and west along your equator and your north and south along your longitude. Okay. And this is the two-dimensional version of it here, where it's actually equal with the lines of longitude and latitude. This is the closest. Now, what you're looking at here is a flat projection of Earth. Okay. Does everyone understand that? This is not a ball. This isn't a spheroid. This isn't a football. This is the two-dimensional coordinate system that was mapped from two observers or multiple traveling east and west until they reached each other again on the 180 lines. And that's where they have all of the errors that they couldn't, there's no way of fixing it. You have to continue to measure, remeasure. After you cross those areas of reality, you got to continue to remeasure.
Yeah, so this is a two-dimensional depiction of the coordinate system. If you take these lines of latitude and turn them into circumferences, that's when you end up with this. This is what happens when you turn those lengths of latitudes into circumferences.
So again, the way that humans mapped out the Earth, they didn't fly up into outer space and say, "There's our globe. Let's section it off into lines of longitude and latitude," which actually don't even work in reality. So what we have is the way that they mapped it out, dealing with the sun in the sky, and they created the Earth coordinate system, not the globe coordinate system. Now, the people who believe they live on a sphere, right, they'll tell you, they'll repeat over and over again that those are globe Earth coordinates, but there's no evidence of that. No one's ever gone up to the moon and taken a picture of the Earth and sliced it into these slices. The only thing that we have is local observers. So someone was asking, when we're referring to the coordinate system, is that the globe Earth coordinate system? There is no globe Earth coordinate system. All of the coordinate systems are created off of flat measurements, and they go smaller and smaller to have more and more accuracy. The larger they have, the more that discontinuity takes place. They have to continue to only measure on a local area. That's how all this was created.
All right. So when you have a static picture like this is latitude 60 degrees south right here. And so if you have a sailboat race, they sail around Antarctica like 60 degrees south. So it's a foolish thing to just think of this as a static picture, because then you have this, the ship's going to travel this way. It's going to be 12 hours out of sync with the prime meridian. That means it's going to be 180 degrees west or east. And if you keep moving this direction, you're going to come back into sync again. And the way that is represented is, here we are traveling at 60 degrees south. So let's go like this. And so now you're sailing around Antarctica like this. You are staying at 60 degrees south, and we know that it's going to take you 12 hours to get to the prime meridian right here. Then you keep going around. All right, this is giving you the accurate distances. This is giving you the accurate heading. And once you get all the way around, it's going to reorient you itself. But you'll get back to your starting position. So that is how you circumnavigate 60 degrees south. All right.
And it applies to all the different latitudes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Is there any more questions in the chat? We're just fielding a few. People were... So coordinate system projection has been sold as a globe. Well, nobody still, even to this day, nobody has a globe in their plane or on their boat, and they're calculating distances and using the globe to navigate. No one's ever done that, right? The only people that say that they do that are people that are lying, that are shilling, that are ex-military. That you'll see, oh, I was a captain in a Navy sub, and you'll hear all these different things. But people actually only use local maps, and then they have to change the map page. Just the way that Jason was showing you, we now have the ability to just circle around and it adjusts for us because of modern day technology.
All right. So, yeah, the coordinate system for the globe, what they never told everybody is that it actually projects to a football. And we're the ones out here sharing that with everybody now, that everybody told you that the coordinate system projected to a ball, but apparently nobody actually went out and did a 3D model of it because it doesn't. And so it's going to be our job to let everybody know that it doesn't. Right? It's a football Earth, and we're not on a football. We're somewhere out. We are somewhere out here. Not that one. We're somewhere out here, but it just depends on like how far west of the prime meridian you are, how far east, what elevation Polaris is for you in the north, and what elevation Sigma Octantis is for you in the south. And that'll tell you where you are on here. Okay. And I just want to share with everybody that by doing a scaled model of this, right, we can actually tell you the amount of square feet on Earth here. So
let's preface this again. So here is the way that they were able to back engineer, right, the surface area of the supposed sphere ball pale blue dot Earth.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun with this.
Again, it's not, we don't live on a sphere in any way. And here, the onion, this two-dimensional slice that we have, where all the land masses are splayed out flat on this, Jason right now is calculating the surface area of this shape.
This is such a big number. Can I copy it? I can. All right. Will that paste in here? It did. So let's go and convert this square feet to square miles. This is a big number. 5, 470, 340, 749, 400. That's meters. I want square miles. Did it change? 5470340 749 742. Oh, it's not behaving. I just wanted to be able to show this real quickly to everybody that the amount of square mileage that we get sort of works either way. There we go. That is 196 million square miles. All right, it's really close to what the Globers say. $196. All right, so this right here is the real square footage based on the coordinate system. And believe it or not, the globe actually even uses the right amount that comes from the coordinate system. But it's not a globe. It's not a globe. It's this. It is this. But then it's able to actually warp to any position based on where you are. But the square surface area of this right here is what we just showed you. So, little something that you picked up today, right?
Yeah, great job. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody learned in. Ask any questions that you want in the comment section below, and Jason will do a great job to get you answered up.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into the character cards. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
5 o'clock in the morning, I know that I've woken you up. I know I'm not the kind of man that you were dreaming of. Night after night, time after time. I know I'm not perfect, I know I'm not easy to love. I was just trying to drink the pain away, not drown myself. I'm sorry I've been gone so long, I know I don't need another way to hide, just need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna change a better. Don't need another way to lie, I need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna change a better. I'm gonna love you so much. Staying out isn't fun when you're losing the ones that you love. Rest your head on my shoulder, I don't wanna hurt you no more. Trying to find another ways to be reckless, not easy, you know. I'm sorry I've been gone so long, I know I don't need another way to hide, just need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna change you better. Don't need another way to lie, I need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna change you better. I'm gonna love you so bad. I'm gonna love you so bad. When your face down on the floor and your back's against the wall, you're about to lose it all. You're about to lose it all. When you recognize yourself, trying to be someone else, you just wanted to be loved. Don't need another way to hide, just need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna treat you better. Don't need another way to lie, I need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna love you so bad. Don't need another way to hide, just need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna treat you better. Don't need another way to lie, I need another way to hold on. Find another way to shut the dark side out. I'm gonna treat you better, so much better. I'm gonna love you so much. I'm gonna love you so much. I'm gonna love you so
We are back.
Yeah, we are. We're not going to get into the cards just yet. We got a small section to go through here. Then we'll do another song break. Then we'll get into the cards.
We're gonna have a fun night tonight.
Yeah, there's a bit of more information that I want to get into. Did you know that the Chinese have already, just like we copy quick. They took pictures of the chopsticks that Elon, the supposed kingmaker, made. Here's China's version of it. They already have it. Look at this. Come on, everybody. Did you know that?
It's all about the chopsticks now, eh?
Are they better than Elon's chopsticks? I don't know. Who did it better, Elon or China? China. They always take their pictures. They come out with Louis Vuitton. They come out with, Louis Vuitton. Let's check this out here. My face when someone who can't prove the curvature or the spin demands that I prove there is no curvature or spin. No. Stupid ass. So Here's an interesting concept I want to tie together with everybody, okay? Jason was talking about 2D and 3D and all this interesting concepts, right? We really need to start to understand what the difference is here and how this is actually taking place.
When they say time is a dimension, this is a visualization of that. If we imagine the lit up 2D part to be the present, then the third dimension is time. However, time and spiritual dimensions are intrinsically different. You're probably familiar with this figure, the Tesseract interacting with our dimension. You may have also heard it referred to as a hypercube. It is both. A hypercube is any cube with dimension 4 or higher, and a tesseract is a 4D cube. This is a hyperpyramid. Boring. A good way to understand a 4D object intersecting with our dimension.
So right here, okay, what we're trying to explain to people is if we could have the flat earth onion that Jason was brilliantly showing, how the coordinate systems, the two-dimensional is what reality we see, we stand, our feet are upon. If we were to be able to display it in the 3D atmospheric look or the, world view, this here would be a football. Okay, that's the shape. Okay, not anything else.
Is first to see what it looks like when a 3D object intersects with the second dimension. If you were to imagine intersecting with the hypersphere,
See, this is where it doesn't work with Fight the Fat Earth or McTooney stuff, right? Dave McKeegan, all these guys that go around trying to browbeat everybody like they're some kind of geniuses, when the coordinate systems and the layouts and the mapping and the projections and the cartography, it doesn't show a sphere at all. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, the smartest of their whole Freemasonic cult, he thinks it's a fattened pear. Right? These guys don't know anything. NASA shows you a picture of a perfect spheroid.
it would appear to be a sphere growing and shrinking. And this is what it may look like if a hypertoroid passed through our dimension.
That's what Witsit wants to talk about. Toroid fields and all this other nonsense. Okay, we've been going on, we've been showing, we've been trying to explain to people for years now that you live in a virtual reality. We're going to continue to do it. Let's keep going here, okay? I want you to understand. This is how AI games are made. This is a real world map. Okay, look. I want to really drill in here. I want to talk about your boundaries. Characters like supposedly intelligent Nachiketa. He went on his stream. Apparently he's down now. Somebody had a gun on his podcast. Couldn't understand how boundaries work. Someone like Will Doofast, the Rothschild book thing, rich guy, take everybody to the bottom of the sphere. He doesn't understand how boundaries look. Look at this video game, how it's created. Okay, look at this. Look at this.
It's seamless. So anywhere you are on that map, it just only reveals as far as you can see around you. And that's it.
That's it. This is the only way that I can start to scratch the surface. Listen, if you thought that you lived on a sphere full of water, spinning, flying through outer space, and you believe that, I believed it too. And I searched the depths. I went quantum mechanics. I studied it all, quarks and all this spooky action at a distance, and there was nothing there. It was empty balls around empty balls. Okay. What I'm trying to explain to you is that we live in a virtual reality, and your surroundings, right? You can only see so far around you, and it gets rendered to you as you move around. Okay. There is no outer boundaries. Now there are parameters. The creator set a distance, a north and east, a south and a west, 4 points, 4 corners, and he created it that way. So it loops back upon itself. And lo and behold, Jason, what you were explaining tonight perfectly, how when you cross the outer 180th longitude, the measurement, right, it actually has serious errors. They call it a discontinuity or singularity. What?
Yeah, when you get to 180 degrees west, and you keep going just a couple more steps, all of a sudden you're at 180 degrees east. You're you were 12 hours away from the prime meridian, and you didn't jump across the border. You did exactly like this animation is showing. You just continued another couple more steps, and now all of a sudden your coordinate is from 180 west to 180 east. That's it.
It's really simple, and I really hope that, you know, whether people catch on or not, that's we just do the work. That's it. We put the work out, and we love it. We're passionate. It's what we want to do. Check this out. It says, I just love this Matrix City. Project is a massive project here, right? Behold, there's 100,000 simulated entities, all interconnected and interacting here. Everything on this is fake. And you can get into these metaverses, these worlds that they've created. And we're trying to explain to people that you're in a grand, so again, we are only able to create, or we're at what level here are we at, Jace? We're nowhere near the level that the creator is, or the creation of this place.
Well, we've got some of the things that are getting close. So one of the things that I wanted to get into with Notch was some of the specs of this world. So we'll probably do it in another stream, but we'll talk about the actual frame rate that our vision is. We'll talk about the actual megapixels that our vision is, and, you know, how it is that we experience this world. And so, you know, our cameras are really getting to the point where they're almost on par megapixel wise with what our vision is, right? And then if you do a full scan of an area, you'll get like this 580 megapixel type image. But if you just take a snapshot, if you just look quickly, it's about a 10 to 15 megapixel image that you're seeing. So that that combined with about a 60 frame per second frame rate, you know, our tech is starting to get close where we can mimic what we're experiencing with the tech that we have. Now, what we don't have is the ability to have the full body, the full haptic feedback, to have the taste and to have the smell. But sound and sight, our tech is actually to the point where we can mimic what we experience.
It's getting there. It's pretty amazing. And I guess the creator knew this. Listen, we found that the creator and his son, they are the ones that created this. They came up with the length, the height, the width, founded it upon nothing in a virtual computer system, just an advanced one. Again, we don't have the highest and most correct words. Again, here, look at, there's more evidence. Again, okay, this doesn't happen. You don't have a sunrise or set through clouds with horizons in the distance. This would not happen on a sphere Earth. This is not the way that it would. If only we could model it up. If the Earth were a spinning sphere at this radius and this size, and how would it actually roll around the edge here? Could you imagine if my pointer was the sun? It would come up over the horizon, and it would look like basically we were rolling into it. That's not what we witnessed.
Why? You would also have this massive Terminator line of where all of a sudden the light was hitting the tops of the clouds from over that back edge.
Distinct black edge would be crossing with a light edge on the other side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And day and night is a lot more complicated of a topic too, how these colors in the rotating system around each observer actually works. We don't have enough time to actually get into the depths of that.
But Unreal Engine, they're at like 5 or 6 or 7 or something now. They are simulating this kind of stuff really well.
But look at that. Setting below the plane, not going, the Earth isn't spinning away from the sun here. If somebody thinks, looking at this, that they're spinning backwards on a sphere, I don't know what to tell you. You're tuned into the wrong podcast, or you just are. It's going bye-bye. It's going under the clouds. Not going around a sphere. There's no Terminator following the sun here.
Nope.
And we can show you this time and time again, and we have been. Did a great job with video clips that you showed on Najiketa's stream, and you'll be doing another podcast And you're going to up the level, up the content. It's going to get better. And hopefully it does seem like that podcast is going to be actually met with someone who's interested in it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, do people actually believe that this is real? Do people really believe that this happened? Jared Isaacman and Sarah Gillis. People really think this took place? Come on, do people really think that was real, Jay? Come on.
I hope not.
Really though, does people think that this was? They're doing the walk like an Egyptian.
That's almost as bad as the stop animation that the Russians were doing in the 60s.
That was the Americans. Let's keep going here. We're almost done. Interestingly enough, there's supposedly another spacecraft like the shuttle, Boeing's military space plane, slammed on its brakes. I didn't even know about this. The U.S. military's top secret, I guess it's really secret, slammed on its brakes, they say. I mean, I didn't know about this. Did you know about
We save enormous amounts of propellant. That's really why aero braking is important.
They're trying to swerve around space junk.
To be part of this team that is delivering
That's
this
what they
first
show.
of a kind
He's proud.
capability.
This thing here?
accomplishment is yet another.
Yeah, it's a baby space shuttle, I think.
7B's ability to
Better than what
conduct novel
Elon's doing, right? Yeah, you're right. It
demonstrations
is a baby
that provide critical
space.
value to the U.S. Space Force.
Critical value, right? Where's this thing? How come they're not... why does it have to be secret? How much taxpayer money went into that? Look at this thing. Time lapse of the space station, supposedly performing a 180-degree spin. Does anybody think this looks real? Where's the land?
Never got to land.
Where's the land?
It's always water.
Land. It might be land right there.
And then Terminator.
There's the Terminator that we should see from, again, do I go back to this? Does anybody think that this,
Where's the Terminator?
remember, that's the horizon here. That's not a Terminator, right? Does this here look, where was I? Like this? Does it? It doesn't look like this.
Nope.
Right? These two things don't equate. Crazy enough, for all those upward rising earthers, they actually have general relativity books for babies.
General relativity for babies. This is a ball. This ball has mass.
Has mass. There you go. Where's Fight the Fat Earth? Where is he? Come on, Craig. Is this what they read to Craig in his cradle?
More mass, less mass. This is flat space.
Flat space. What? Wait a minute. We live in a flat
More
space.
mass,
More
less
mass.
mass.
Wow, Jason, is that a coordinate system?
Well, it's equally gridded out, so there's not any poles on that coordinate system. If you wanted to have poles, it's not going to be equally spaced out. They'll have to pull together at the point that you make a pole, right?
This would be a local coordinate system, right? Just in your town.
This is flat space. Mass, warp, space.
Could you
Less
imagine?
mass, less warp.
They're teaching this to babies now.
More mass, more warp. This is a small particle.
Small particle. You'll never observe it.
It wants to go here, but it can't. It must follow the shortest path through the curved space.
Through the curved space.
This ball is spinning.
Spinning balls.
Mass drags space. Space drags mass. This is flat space from a different angle.
Look at that. There you go, Flair.
AE.
Mass warps space from this angle.
This is Widget
Shrink a
stuff.
large mass enough.
There's a fake flat earther that
Black hole.
looks like they just learned something there, right? Oh,
A
look,
black hole
There's a flat Earth map
Whoa,
right there.
is a large
proved it.
of mass in a relatively
Eat
small
it,
area.
fake flat Earth or ball
A black
Earthers.
hole has so much mass
Look at that,
that
so
not
much.
even light can escape its warp.
So much mass that not even light can get out of it. We can't even witness it, just like an atom.
The center of a black hole is called singularity.
No, actually, the sides of the map projection, the 180 is actually where they call the singularity.
No, the poles are the singularities.
Yo,
The poles.
that's right. The closer
Yep.
you get to the poles, that's a singularity. Thank
Spin
you.
around each other.
They spin around each other.
They
Huh?
send ripples through
I don't like that
space
symbol.
called gravitational waves.
Bad.
These waves stretch and squish space throughout the universe.
It's crazy.
Oh, they're just frying the minds of kids.
Relativity.
Babies. That was for babies. Oof, for babies. I mean, do we want to talk about Pythagoras?
Nah, he's a bad guy.
Cult. The weirdest cult in history.
Vegans, right?
Yeah, they're vegans.
Homosexual vegans.
You got the Freemason symbolism, compass and square here. You got the Harp of David. What's this? The Kabbalah tree? Was that the football earth? Wait a minute. Now you'll start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the football earth now.
Yeah, Mark Sargent even had it in a thumbnail. Pythagorean theorems. This guy was the weirdest cult of all time. They did really weird stuff. They were all men too, right? No women allowed. This, whenever you do that, just stuff gets really creepy, right?
When Sir Isaac Newton gives all credit to Pythagoras, right?
Mm-hmm. So this is another interesting thing that I wanted to bring up that I brought up last week, if anybody was paying attention, what it actually looks like if you look up into the heavens at nighttime. I mean, I know the scriptures talk about angels that are traveling in higher places and how it's basically just a crazy, chaotic, egotistical area. But if you actually look up, you start to see a lot of stuff. I don't think these are all planes. This is like what you get with night vision glasses. You look up into the sky.
Yeah.
It's Vandenberg Space Force Base, supposedly. But, like, what are all these things flying around? Now, people say, oh, those are satellites. Like, I don't think they're satellites. I don't think I know that some of them are planes.
Yeah.
Right?
Show me a bus from 200 miles away. Come on. Right?
Yeah, you can't see a bus from 200 miles away. It's ridiculous. Just insane. Okay, but what are these things? So I guess that's it. If you want to go into the song break, we'll get back. Let's get into the cards.
Let's do it.
We'll be back after this.
Take it, aging you
We are back.
We are back, and yes, we've got some serious content to get into. We've got a bunch of different cards here to get into. Let me make sure I've got everything in the correct order here. Let me get it back on. See where we're going to start here. I guess we're going to start with special magical, not a pressurized pizza domer. So it looks like there's going to be probably a bunch of additions, right, to the different card systems. Okay, so what we're going to start with here is a special magical, not a pizza domer. So this one says, the Earth is flat, but it's not a pizza in space, surrounded by other planets in science fiction outer space, which is a straw man flat Earth society conception. The globe is a religion of self-deception, reinforced by its priesthood, the bankers, the Vatican, and their minions within the satanic global government. The spinning ball Earth is a lie. And as you can see here, we got the magic hat and wand and all the wondrous stars. And we've got the Mercator map, because guess who is? Welcome to the card here, Arwen.
He gets a special category, right?
He gets his own category, special magical, not a pizza domer. Right? This is Arwen. This is his card here. He's got 3.17 thousand subscribers, 655,000 views. He's got 2,117 videos. He's done a lot of live streams here. He started his channel back in May 18th of 2016. 8 years, 6 months, and 5 days. He's definitely not verified. And he fails 9 out of 10 of our truths, our
fundamental truths.
The fundamental truths that you can find in the description. It says here, Arwen is an elder wizard that claims to have changed the name Lord to Baal in the Bible using witchcraft to create a Mandela effect. So he told us to Jason, you actually had Arwen on one of your first podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to you and wanted to do content with you when you were on the scene telling everybody that they lived in a virtual reality, or simulation was the word we used back then.
Yeah, and he thought he had a common bond with me because he told me that he created a Mandela effect, that they were in a ceremony and that he was with these other people, and when it got to him, he had to come up with some sort of a Mandela effect that they were going to try to magically implement. Mm-hmm. And he came up with what? Baal and Ball was that the Ball?
Yeah. From the word Lord.
Yeah.
He changed it. So Lord is YHWH over 7,000 times. And he said he was able to get it to change to the name Baal. He continues on here. Arwen is a frequent guest on Nathan Oakley's podcast. Arwen has also been known to scream and psychotically lose his mind during what he calls his early bird flat Earth podcast. So some of his associations and pros here, Patricia Steer, Nathan Oakley 1980. And again, these cards are going to be used in a flow chart where we're going to actually show connections to each and every one of these characters. Sleeping Warrior, I don't know if you guys remember him. Anthony Riley. We got Arwen is pro-witchcraft. He's pro-vegan warrior. He's pro-quantum eraser. He's pro the day and night map. That's the map that was on the card that I just showed here. If I show it again here, this is the day and night map. This is the map that Arwen believes that he lives on. There's a problem here, Arwen.
Where's the poles?
The poles you got stretched out to infinity are just as bad, a little better than the single pole pressurized pizza dome or something. He believes in purification bells. He's really into that. And extra dimensional realms he talks about, even though this is all that he shows, this one map. But there's also, he's saying that there's extra dimensional realms. Okay. Who is he against? Obviously Christianity. He's actively fighting against Upward Earth. He's not with that crew. He's against Dell. He's against us here at Team Yahawashai. He's definitely against the AE Flat Earth map. He openly says that he fights against the government, and yes, will doof ass in the final experiment. There's Arwen with his special magical Earth card. Let's go on to the next one. Probably one of my favorite categories of this entire Illuminati fake reality watchers, this group of characters. This is the special magical personalized pizza domers. All right. It says here, special magical personalized pizza domers teach that Earth is flat and stationary realm with a single North Pole, and everyone has their own sun inside of a personal dome. And the sun in their model actually materializes at sunrise and dematerializes at sunset. But it's not a virtual reality.
Nope,
That's
no. I can't say that. It's special. It's
They
magical.
state that this realm is a magical and mysterious place and will not give a name for the creator. Well, who is in this group, everybody? Well, let's get to the first one. Gang Stalker, no other. You know him best as Q Network File Explorer.
Dummy.
QN Dummy. Got 12.4 thousand subscribers. He managed to keep his original channel. I'm the only one who got taken down, it looks like. He's got over 2 million views. He's got 416 videos that show. Now, he keeps going on and on about how we're hiding videos. Listen, YouTube takes down Jason's videos because we've got thousands, unlike you. Date created October 12th. This is an old channel, 17 years. It's a long time that this clown has been online gang stalking people. He's absolutely not verified. And actually, I think I could probably change this number to 10. Now, these are fluctuating. These numbers, the statistics, anyone could inform us. I reached out to a few characters and asked them these questions so we can get a more accurate. Now, I don't think he believes the earth is flat either. I'll say it recently. Yeah. I got to change this. He fails all 10. All 10. Yep, he does. It says here QNFEE or Q Network File Explorer still uses Windows because he's a dummy. Used to film this guy. He was fascinated with orbs. If you could spend time with him, he would talk to you for 5 straight hours about orbs and go through 100,000 different folders, not understanding where anything that he had was. QNFEE was a hacker, claims that he earns his money fixing up old photos for the elderly in his community. Q is now seen as YouTube's top gang stalker and now projects obsessions with homosexuality. If you go and look at his channel, you're going to see it's just riddled with disgusting things that I don't think any normal, straight, heterosexual man could ever create. Listen, when you make a video, you literally have to watch and do those actions over and over again. It is just gross. Pro? Yeah, you bet it. Jake the asshole. Like, that guy doesn't have some weird sexual perversions being projected. He's got the name asshole in his name. Special Magical Earth, that's all about QNFEE. Special Magical, he says. The AE Flat Earth map he loves. He spent thousands of hours repainting it. He's into multiple suns, many sky angles. If you talk to him personally, he's going to tell you that there's different angles to the skies everywhere. And he'll show you some chemtrails. He doesn't leave his kitchen, or he films out of his kitchen. He does not leave his house. He doesn't even film anymore. He's pro single pole Earth. Only one pole Earth. He loves orbs. You see, that's bold. Orbs. He says now the sky is dead. And he loves the gang stalk. There's his pros. Anti-Christianity, obviously. He's hated the creator and Christianity from day one. He hates Team Yahawashai. If you haven't seen, we're his #1 gang stalking homosexuality target. He hates the globe, supposedly. He hates flat Earth. All maps except the AE, right? He's against two-pole realities. And single sun and moon, he's against it. He says that's not reality, right? We could put more here, and again, these are just going to be tightened up. We're going to continue to update them, and like I said, people can get these cards, trade them around. It is going to be documented. You want me to move on? Do you have anything to say about QN Dummy?
No, that's good.
QN Dummy here, but I wanted to make it as accurate, right? Here's some pictures that he took of the orbs in the sky. It's a face, it's an orb. The sky is alive. No, now he says the sky is dead, so he doesn't film. The next one of the special, magical, personalized pizza domers, none other than Jake the asshole, right? Skyrocketed up in the subscriber count, right? He'll tell you it's because he has such great content. Well, we'll tell you that the worse your content is, the more you lie, the more deceptive you are, the more satanic you are, the better you do. And he's not doing as good as Jaren, so he's not that good. He's got 17 million views. That's a lot, right? 775 videos. Created his channel not that long ago, only 8 years ago, right? 8.5 years roughly. He's not YouTube verified. I do think he says that Earth is flat, so he only fails 9 out of 10. It says here, A-hole Jake was promoted into the mainstream flat Earth community and enjoyed meetups and fundraisers as he traveled the United States of America. Then the group was exposed, so he jumped ship, supposedly debunking the AE map model. He's now flipped again, and he promotes the AE map and model. That's Jake the asshole here. Is pro, definitely he's with his QN dummy buddy. He loves Special Magical Earth. He's the AE Flat Earth map guy. He's pro that. He's pro multiple suns. He is the guy that says that everyone has their own personal dome.
That's a Jaren-ism.
Yeah, well, it's Jakeism too. He goes assholeism. He goes on to say that he's pro single pole Earth too. There's only the one pole in the north, right? This guy actually is into and was a huge fan of the World Wrestling. It used to be Federation. Now it used to be WWF. Now it's WWE. I guess entertainment, so that people didn't think that it was real. So after I did a video about the rigged NFL and a bunch of other people too, Jake the asshole now spends most of his time just reiterating. It's almost like watching Jaren talk about NASA. He barely does any work. He does the same videos every week where he covers the rigged plays and the doinks off the posts. And I mean, it's getting a little overdone. He's pro drugs. He does drugs. He gets high on shrooms. Again, this is how you get boosted.
And live streams.
Yeah, he smacks himself in the face, cries, screams, gets stoned and wrecked off his ass on drugs. What is he against? He hates Christianity. Obviously, he hates Team Yahawashai, right? Hates the globe, he says. He's definitely against chemtrails. He fights actively, he says, against rig sports, but then he'll tell you to gamble on them. And he's actively against the AE Flat Earth map, but he's also for the AE Flat Earth map.
Total contradiction.
I want people to see that he's against and for it, right? So let's keep going here. Let's get into our next card. We'll try not to drag this on too long. Single pole stationary pressurized pizza dome Christian edition. Look at this card.
Special category.
Yeah, the single pole stationary pressurized pizza domers had to be labeled into two categories. One Christian, one satanic. Tonight, we're getting into some of the Christians. Now, this will be larger. There's going to be more added to the list. It says here, the fake Christian single pole stationary. Again, stationary has to be put in this because now we've got the upward rising earthers who you've seen we covered last week. Single pole stationary pressurized pizza domers teach that Earth is fixed and covered with a solid dome. The entire universe, though, is inside of that dome, except the sun. It shines through the firmament from outside. All of the stars circle around Polaris in their reality, and single pole stationary pressurized pizza domers state that there is no southern constellations and no south pole. How about that card?
Oops.
Let's get into it. First up onto the list, we've got Flatzoid Perspective. This guy is quite the character, as you can see here. 4.3 thousand subscribers, very low. Almost 1 million views. Over 1,000 videos, though. And he just started less than 6 years, only 5 years and 10 months ago. He's definitely not YouTube verified. Hey, wait, 8. So he does believe the Earth is flat, we think. And he does believe that there is a hell. So he gets 2. He gets 2. He's the first one of the categories of all the cards where he doesn't fail 9. Except for Q. Q actually fails 10.
Well, and I found it interesting that Q tried to promote that we should be alloys with Flatzoid because supposedly Flatzoid's a Christian and he promotes biblical Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's part of this single pole stationary pressurized pizza domers. This is not biblical.
Not at all. It says Keith quickly became popular from hit pieces created by Simon Dan and Fight the Flat Earth. Keith was an easy target due to his obnoxious AE map flat Earth claims. He wears shirts with weightlifters on it that say "Don't fart."
Oof.
Yeah, it's constantly he wears this stuff. He is an absolute asshat. You couldn't get a more ridiculous. Listen, they put discreditable characters there, and just this here I could get way more detailed, and it is going to get more detailed. It says who is he pro? Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, Kingdom in Context. We're going to get to him later. Josh Monday, Plain Hour Walk, Ironwork 92,000. Professor Dave Explains. He does videos with him. Okay. Anti Dave McKeegan, Simon Dan, Fight the Flat Earth, McToon. He apparently he's against QNFE. And the 3 Birdman. So if you look into some of these channels, this Professor Dave can go on both sides. a lot of these characters. So you'll find that these are all verified. A bunch of these. This guy's verified. This guy's verified. This guy's. He's yoked up with a lot of verified guys. This guy's verified. So he's an obnoxious clown that you could not get someone who is more of a, clown. He's
Asshole Jake. Asshole Jake is close. Come on.
This guy's worse. No, Jake is an asshole. This guy here he acts more of an idiot. Look at him. Look at this face.
Yeah.
This is his YouTube icon. So this is Flatzoid's perspective. If you haven't seen him, let's move on to the next card. We're already past 10 o'clock. Kingdom in Context. Sean Griffin, 132,000 subscribers. Ooh. Oh yeah. 5 million, almost 6 million views, 1,060 videos. He started his channel on January 1st of just 2018. He's only had his channel for 6 years, but he's got amassed 132,000 subscribers. Yes, he's verified. Verified.
He's on the YouTube team.
He's the first one that's got the check mark. He's YouTube verified. He actually passes. He only fails 7. So Sean Griffin, Kingdom in Context, actually fights against the Trinity. So he believes in hell. He believes the earth is flat, so he says. And he doesn't believe in the Trinity, which is one of our fundamental truths. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he's winning so far.
He's winning. He's winning of the shills. Sean Griffin came onto the YouTube scene via Adam Fink's channel and started amassing followers at a rampant pace. Sean was quoted stating that angels get circumcised like humans. Sean is also close friends with Jeranism and Will Duffy of The Final Experiment. Sean is against the Trinity and teaches that hell is real, though. So it's interesting. Angels don't have... Well, go ahead.
It's where he picked up a couple of his points. Yep.
These two down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to add. Okay. So angels don't procreate. They weren't created with sexual organs. Okay, that's not the way the scripture states. So he wanted to debate us on it, but no, it's gross. Like it takes 2 seconds to verify that humans were created to procreate. Angels weren't. And that's why the fallen angels got into so much trouble, because they changed their actual abode and they changed their avatars and then started procreating. And that's why they were damned. The whole flood, we could get into it. But who is he for? Look at this name. Rob Skiba's entering into the card game. He's for Rob Skiba, for Jeranism. Look at that. Sean, this guy's a flat earth Christian, anti-Trinitarian. Jeranism shows up second. He's pro Will Duffy. Will Duffy's making it into the card game. He's also pro With Gets It. Lo and behold, Sean Griffin is pro Owen Benjamin. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Robbie Davidson showing up into the game. Celebrate Truth. You might not know who he is. He was the Flat Earth Society's Pope who ran a bunch of the Flat Earth conferences. He did a decent job. Conferences have not been the same with the witch at the helm. We got Flat Earth David here. David Weiss. Definitely pro Sean Griffin. And Dean Odell making an appearance here, right? No card for some of these characters yet, because they're not actively fighting for the truth of the shape of the realm here. You're not going to make it into the game. He's anti, so you can check it out. Pete Rambo, Bullet Holes, which is Justin Best, Jack Smack 77, Radar Apologetics, Chris LaSala, Berean Perspective. Now, there's a whole list of people out there, Jason, that hate Sean Griffin from Kingdom in Context, or he calls his channel Kick. He has a lot of haters, and a lot of them are like mega super verified. Like
interesting,
him.
like him.
If, like I said, maybe when we do a deeper dive, when we start to bring up the connections, we'll scroll and I'll show you guys. For each one of these characters, a lot of research has to be done to make this simple card. You guys will be shocked. But a lot. These people, Pete Rambo, Jack Smack, Radar Apologetic, these are big channels. They're not little small channels. These are like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Let's keep going here. Adam Fink, Parable of the Vineyard, 195,000 subscribers.
That's insane.
So far, he's got the most. He's got 28 million views, 1,100 videos. He started way back 14 years ago, April 28th, 2010. He's not YouTube verified, huh?
Shocking.
How is that possible? And he fails 8 of the 10. He does believe the hell is real, right? And I'd have to find out if he's against the Trinity, but I do know that he thinks the Earth is flat, so he got 8 out of 10. It says here, Adam Fink came onto the YouTube scene with the Revelation 12 movement and quickly rose to the top with his Judaizing style. Adam does teach out of the New Testament, though, and claims to be a Messianic Jew at the same time. Adam has clung on to the AE map even after he was shown it was incorrect and leads a cult in Missouri. Now, you can dig deep into this if you want to go and see what's going on, right? On the other hand, you know, they seem to be, it's a tough discussion. We could get into the depths of it. He's pro Rob Skiba. He's pro Stephen Pigeon making an entrance. That's the guy who created the Sephar, which is their own Bible. Adam is pro Yiddish, speaks it and uses it in a lot of his videos. He's pro Sean Griffin, Kingdom in Context, showing up right here. Left and Right Ministries is one of his main channels that he works with, and Simply Prodigal. It's another channel that he works with. Now, who's against him? Justin Best or Bust and Jest. Bullet Holes is his channel. Nathan Roberts is against him. I don't know if you remember Caleb from Gen 6 Project. But
Oh, yeah.
So these are some of the characters that are actively fighting against Adam. And you can do your own research, you know, as to what you want. I don't want to say that anytime you have a community of people, right? We experienced it ourselves. We tried to have people come down and it ended up in disaster, the stuff that takes place here. So Adam is out there.
It was so frustrating because he knew us. He was stopping by. He was in the chat, and we were letting him know that the AE map and model is impossible. And then he brought Rob Skiba on and had Rob Skiba teach the impossible flat Earth to his channel. That was,
Yeah, it was bad.
that was so frustrating.
And that was 7 years ago. But that's Adam Fink. Let's move on to the next year. Joe Hill, F'd Up World, making an appearance. 5.8 thousand subscribers. He's got almost 1.1 million views. That's pretty good for Joe. 4,277 videos, though. That's a lot. So he started his channel 14 years ago. He is not YouTube verified. And as far as I know, he believes in the Trinity. So again, he only gets flat Earth and he believes in hell. Those are the only two that he passes. It says Joe Hill arrived on the scene on Adam Fink's channel, just like Sean Griffin, right? A Parable of the Vineyard. Joe Hill teaches that Elon Musk is the man of sin being revealed. Joe works with both Christian and satanic YouTube channels. Joe's set is a huge spiraling black and white 666 logo. Joe also actively fights day and night for the pressurized pizza dome dogmatically. Who is he pro? Everyone. Joe is friends with everyone. He doesn't want to have any fights or any arguments. You can find him in everybody's chats. He's in the Upward Rising Earthers. He's in Pat Steers. He's in everybody's chats. Who is he against? Elon Musk, Mick Toon, Cyman Dan, Fight the Flat Earth Official, Professor Dave, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Those are the people that Joe is against. Now, I do believe that Elon Musk is very likely one of the characters that there's multiple. There's the dragon, there's the man of sin, there's multiple different antichrists. And Elon Musk is definitely fulfilling one of those roles. Joe's right. Right? I could say Joe knows something. It's like the flat Earth Illuminati card, right? Keep going here. We're almost done. Oh, lo and behold, Dean Odell makes an appearance. Dean Odell's got 10.8 thousand subscribers, and this is his channel. That I guess he lost his channel for fighting against the Cerveza bug. He 10,000 subscribers, almost 11, almost 700,000 views. 247 videos. Started his channel recently, only 4 years ago, and he does believe in the Trinity, and he does believe in hell, and that the Earth is flat. So he gets 8 out of 10. Dean Odell ran for governor of Alabama. Also debated Greg Locke about the shape of the Earth and challenged Greg to go to Antarctica because Dean said, "quote If there is a 24-hour sun above the horizon, Earth is a ball." End quote. Dean has since declined a free trip to prove Earth is flat and can only be seen at Skyfall conferences now. Right? So Dean was one of the agent shills that came out, like David Weiss and Jeranism, the main flat earthers that spoke at the conferences, that said stuff like, if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, right? Earth is a sphere. They literally said that, right? And it was definitely a fake stage debate. And the main point was for Dean to say this quote, right? And then now you have Will Duffy come out and say, sure, Dean was the one who said to Greg, let's go. Let's go. Oh, no, Greg. So Will Duffy already told Greg that this is where they fail. This is where they show their cards, these cards. When we connect them together. In the debate, Greg Locke said, let's go. They'll actually let us go down there, because Greg Locke knew that they were actually going to do this. And Dean Odell's job was to say that the Earth would be a sphere if there were a 24-hour sun witnessed in Antarctica. He's pro Dick Hummer. If you don't know who Dick Hummer is, he also played the character Roland Reddy, who actually got an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
What are the chances?
Yeah, and then lied about it, trolled people, shamed Christians over the character that he was playing, right? Dean is also pro Matt Long. He's pro King James version of the Bible. He's pro David Weiss. He's pro grace. Dean is all about grace. He's very pro Alabama.
He's also hands-on too, right? He's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The touching of that, laying of the hands. He's pro Alabama, very. He's post-trib rapture, though. He's also pro Skiba. There's one mistake. See, the cards aren't ready to be revealed. We're just bringing them out. I'm not going to be releasing these until I do a few more final checks. Who's he against? He's definitely against Jeranism. He's always been against us. He won't even say our names, nor will he even contact me to correct any of this. Him and Rob will just ignore us. Block, right? He's very against pre-trib rapture, right? He's pro-post, right? He's very against Zen Garcia. He's made hit piece videos against him, calling him a heretic. He's against Hollywood, but interestingly enough, he was a Hollywood actor. He starred in a Die Hard movie, right? But he says he's then repented of that. So there's Dean Odell. You might not know him, but he's still active. I just don't know how much flat earth he's doing. Let's move on to the next one. Dun, 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 dun. We've got Benny Plashenko, betterly known as Russian Videos, aka They Live Truth. He's amassed 13.5 thousand subscribers, over 1 million views, only 177 videos. That's a lot of numbers for such a short amount of work. He started this channel only 2 years ago. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And we do believe that he believes in the Trinity, so he gets 8. So he does say that Earth is flat and that hell is real. It says, Benny Plashenko, aka They Live Truth, aka Russian Vids, teaches that coconut trees prove the circling sun. Ben also works very hard trying to tie the Bible to the pressurized pizza dome. Ben is a vegan, takes donations, and he is best known for externalizing Freemasonry and Satanism using gematria. Right?
Well said. Yeah, he is the guy that externalized all that gematria crap to me,
to all of us. Right?
Yeah,
he's taught everyone. He's very pro Effie Banjo. Now we should all know these lists, some of these guys, because he said it himself in his own video. Pro Eric Dubé, Nathan Oakley, Eric Dubé making an appearance here. Pro Flat Earth Warrior. Don't know if he's around. He's very pro Freemasonry. He spends most of his time talking about Freemasonry. He's very into the dome. He's very into Satanism, gematria, and decodes. That's what RV does. Who is he against? Supposedly he's against Jaron. He hates Jake the asshole, right? He's very against Two Poles. He's very against David Weiss. He's very against PK Truth. And he's got a special hatred for number 99, the pimp on a blimp, Alex Stein. I don't blame him. Right. So we're going to get to the last card of the night of the single pole stationary. And remember, all these people are supposed Christian.
Yeah.
This is the Christian section.
Oof.
Single pole stationary pressurized pizza dome Christians. We got Flat Earth Banjo, USA, Japan, Brazil. He's got 32,000 subscribers, over almost 5 million views. This guy, he gets a lot of views, right? He's another Flatzoid type character who says just outlandish, ridiculous, retarded stuff. Started his channel 8 years ago, not verified, fails 8 of the truths. Flat Earth Banjo is one of the most prolific promoters working tirelessly to tie the Bible to the fake single pole pressurized pizza dome model. He was put to the top of the scene thanks to response videos easily refuting his claims by Simon Dan and Professor Dave. Who's he pro? He's definitely pro Jeranism. And he was. He's definitely pro-Russian vids. He's definitely pro-Eric Dubé. He's all about TikTok. He does a lot of his time now with bringing people from TikTok onto YouTube. He's such a pro-Jaredism guy. I put it twice. he's pro QN fee, QN dummy, right? He said that Q's done a lot of great work. If you see the Nachiketa video that he did with Banjo, he also is very pro Sun Simulator.
Yeah, he's the Sun Simulator guy.
It's his thing, right? And the dome. He loves the dome. But he's also against QNFEE, right? He's definitely against Jake the Asshole. He calls him out. He's against two poles. Oh no, he's also against Jaredism. And Simon Dan and Professor Dave. You see a common thread between these fake Christian flurfers. They're all friends and enemies with the same characters. We're gonna
Walking contradictions.
Yep. We're gonna see it when we tie them all together. But so yeah, that's the cards for tonight. The single pole stationary Christian pressurized pizza domers. We got the special magical not a pizza domers. That was the Arwen card, right? And last but not least, the special magical personalized pizza domers, where they believe is this the Shane? He's tying the model together. What is this? The Walter Bislin.
Yep.
This actually refutes. This here proves that the circling single pole model doesn't work, right? Like, you want to talk about Einstein bending, warping space, time, and reality. You'd have to be a clown to think that this was reality. But again, we're not going to get too deep into this. That was the card presentation for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Most importantly, Jason, thank you for showing everybody that we don't live on a football, right? And if you think you live on a sphere, you actually have to think that you live on a football.
And we don't live on an onion either, but it does perfectly. It is a perfect 2-scale representation in 2D of the coordinate system. So we'll keep talking about it. We'll keep showing everybody how that all fits together. I loved your thing that you shared showing movement in a video game. That was cool.
Yeah, it ties it all together with the borders and how actually the way that the virtual reality works. But yeah, thanks again to everybody for tuning in. And make sure you guys are subscribed and you're ready for more. Share this with anybody in the Flat Earth movement or anybody that's looking and interested in the final experiment.
Yeah, so once we get all these cards done and out there, then we're going to put them into a flow chart and show the connections between all these guys. And then we're going to track them. And we'll show their positions any which way they go. So,
right. Excellent. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to the moderator with the most, YD, and everybody else for tuning in. The Goldsmith for all he does. And thank you to everybody that joins us on Telegram on the Reality Check chat group.
Where's the only place people are going to get this content, brother?
Only in the stereographic, virtual, biblical reality on the Yahawashai News Networks.